Call Sam Walker 0161 228 2255.
BBC Radio Manchester.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for listening today. 9:06 Wednesday morning. This is BBC Radio Manchester. Hi, I'm Sam Walker. Anyway, I gave you that information this morning from BBC Radio Manchester's Twitter page. If you follow us on Twitter, you can find us at BBC Radio Manc. Of course, most days I say, do get in touch. Send me a tweet. Well, actually, this could be opening up a whole big can of worms. I'm going to tell you the story in a moment of a woman who campaigned to get a woman onto a banknote. You know, quite often you look at your banknotes and there's Charles Dickens on there or William Shakespeare. And you thought, why isn't there women on banknotes? Let's get a woman on a banknote. She then was subjected to tirades of horrible online abuse, people threatening her with violence, with sexual violence. I mean, really, really unpleasant stuff. And so I want to hear from you this morning, because she's now trying to change the way that social media works, or rather change the way you can report any abuse online. Is this something you've ever experienced? Have you ever been onto a Facebook page or a forum on a website and thought, oh, I don't like what I'm seeing here? Twitter has come under fire recently because people are being trolled, and by that I mean they're being abused or bullied online. I want to know this morning, is it something you've ever experienced? Maybe your kids, your grandkids, you're worried about them getting on the internet and they've got upset with things they read or things that have been said to them online. Well, a second man has been arrested on suspicion of harassment after Caroline Criado-Perez, who's she campaigned to get Jane Austen onto a banknote, and also she's been supported by the Labour MP Stella Creasy, and they've both been abused on Twitter. Now, the 25-year-old man is the latest arrest. He was detained by Northumbria Police after BBC News traced threatening messages to accounts in South Shields. Another man's been arrested and detained in Manchester at the weekend as well. Now, Caroline Criado-Perez says she has been really shocked by some of the abuse that she's received on the social networking site.
Twitter sort of exploded with this barrage of really violent threats of a sexual nature, really sort of detailed anatomical detailings of what was going to happen to me, and it was really shocking to see how little it needed for that to sort of explode in that way.
Now, the case has led to calls for Twitter to do more to tackle online abuse, being able to block people, it says, isn't enough. Blocking someone means you don't see their messages anymore and they can't see you. But does that just let the person go on and bully somebody else? Well, Del Harvey is Twitter's Director for Trust and Safety, and she said it's hard to trace users because they only have to give their email address in order to get an account online. But she says she's willing to come to Britain and talk with MPs here.
We're absolutely open for discussion. This is an area that we're already working with law enforcement. We welcome feedback in terms of areas where they've heard complaints or criticisms. It's really genuinely important to me that we get this right, and I can't really underscore that enough. Okay. I don't want people to think that we don't take it serious.
Well, lots and lots of celebrities are targeted. Just a couple of weeks ago, Colleen Rooney was forced to defend herself after she was bombarded with abuse over the uncertainty of whether Wayne Rooney was going to stay at Old Trafford or not. They were, insulting Colleen and insulting her two children. The singer Adele, when she gave birth to her baby boy, someone messaged her to say, just murder it already. It's her newborn baby son. Just this week, Oliver Rawlings, who's from Altrincham, sent a really abusive message to the classic historian Mary Beard. She said it's absolutely horrible to get stuff like that. I've had it. It's just not nice. I mean, thankfully, and I've only had a little bit of abuse, but, you do get it when you're online. But let's find out more about what these actually are. Jonathan Bishop is a trolling expert from Swansea, and he's the editor of a book called Examining the Concepts, Issues and Implications of Internet Trolling. Jonathan, good morning.
Hi there, Sam.
Hello. Can you just explain to people then, who might be hearing this word for one of the first times, going trolling, what is a troll and what is trolling?
Well, the term came from the 1990s, when a troll was someone who'd be doing practical jokes online, and in recent years it's come to mean anyone who posts provocative or offensive messages on the internet.
Because there was this notion, like you said in the early days, of them being a bit mischievous, a bit disruptive, a bit mischievous, and now we're just talking out and out abuse, aren't we? Really horrible, vile words.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear what you were saying about yourself being trolled, because there's this "you are biased" type of trolling, which is where anything anyone agrees, they just say you must be biased, or you're in the pocket of someone, that sort of thing.
Yeah, completely. I mean, as I said, from my point of view, and I have to say, I've had one woman who did tweet me repeatedly because I did an interview with Martin Clunes, and she didn't think I was respectful enough of Martin Clunes during this interview. I thought we had a bit of a laugh, but that was quite unpleasant. She told me exactly what she thought of me. But all the others have been from men, and yet it's not women who are uniquely targeted here, is it, online?
No, it was originally, when the trolling word started to change, that it was men in their 20s who were disaffective with their lives. And obviously, as trolling's grown, there's been people from different backgrounds. And in fact, when I was a community counsellor about 10 years ago, I was trolled just for being a counsellor. And when I reported it to the police, they said it was a civil matter, and as you can see, now we're seeing people charged with the criminal laws that existed at the same time.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I remember when I first did some work on another national radio station, a BBC station, and I was trolled for the first time, and it was almost seen like a badge you had to gain. And I said, I've just been really horribly trolled during that programme by someone. And, you know, people slapped me on the back and went, well, there you go, you've made it now, you've been trolled. And it's that almost rite of passage you have to go through if you are on a social networking site, that it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's right. There's actually an acronym for it. You have been trolled. And, yeah, I guess if you're in the public eye, you eventually have to accept you're going to be a victim of trolling, and you have to let it go over your head, because you couldn't imagine David Cameron getting someone charged with harassment every time he said something bad about him, for instance.
OK, thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan Bishop there, trolling expert from Swansea, and editor of the book Examining the Concept, Issues and Implication of Internet Trolling. What do you think? Do you think, also, what, sticks and stones? If someone calls you a name, you just go, bye, ignore them? I mean, if someone approached you at a bus stop and abused you and said vile things to you, you'd just walk away, wouldn't you?
Call Sam Walker 0161 228 2255.
BBC Radio Manchester.